It's missing the point. It's actually a great time to be a sports fan, ladies and gentlemen. Great time in particular for me. I'm your host, DK Sizzle. I'm here with Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan and the real BK, Bob Kelly. I watched Liverpool Football Club win the Premier League over the weekend. I just wanted to shout that out real quick. We don't often talk soccer on this show. That's because I'm an expert in the field and none of you guys give a shit about it. So unless I'm talking to myself, it's not a sport that usually makes the cut. But I did need to just do a quick lap of honor. I was 30 the first time I saw them do it, and it was during COVID. I waited so long. It was the thing I wanted to see the most in my sporting life. And it was during COVID, and it was really shitty because it was during COVID. There was no fans in the stadium. I waited so long. Nothing. It just didn't feel right. Didn't feel good. And to see them win it in front of the adoring fans was honestly fantastic. It really felt like a bucket list moment, like something you start to believe you'll never actually see. I know you guys can relate, to a certain extent. I know it took a long time for people in your lives. I know we were kind of young when the Red Sox won first, but I know people that really had that 1,000-mile stare, waiting for the Boston Red Sox to win something. The Celtics to a certain degree, for all of us as well, watching that. Droughts. When you're a fan of a successful club, Bobby, you're going through it right now with the Dallas Cowboys. Shit, I'm going through it still with the Chicago Bears. When you're fans of a legitimate franchise and they're not winning, there's no louder voices in the room than when you pissed off other fan bases at some point because you were good. So when that's the case, you hear a lot of shit when they don't win it. So I was really happy that they were able to walk it pretty much. It was super easy. So quick shout out there. Today, whenever you're listening to this, on the treadmill, sitting at your breakfast nook, we're going to talk about two different sports, probably our two main sports here on Missing the Point. And honestly, America's two main sports. We're going to talk about the playoffs of the National Basketball Association, obviously. It's been I guess, kind of predictable first round for the East and a pretty predictably fun and fraught first round for the West. We're going to talk about it holistically. We're going to talk about it individually. But first, gentlemen, we haven't been together since our teams in the National Football League drafted new, fresh blood in the NFL draft. Bobby and I have a long-running feud about the actual draft itself. I was making fun of him like 3 or 4 years ago for sitting down to watch the thing because they just show you a list afterwards. But I'm in. I got hauled in by the first overall pick existing in my team's lives last year, and now I'm doing all the research. I'm watching all the tape, and I want to know ahead of time if we've done the right thing, as much as one can know. So, Ray, how did you enjoy the Patriots draft? Biggest surprises? Give me a letter grade.
So I would say I would give them an A-, just on paper. Obviously, things have to unfold, but I think they went for need. They went for what they thought was best player available, and most of all, they didn't get cute with it, right? And it stems back from last year. Right now, obviously, Drake May was the prize pick that they made last year, but you don't remember much else that they did, after that. Fans knew just about every pick that they made this year. It wasn't any reaches in people's minds. We had talked about on the show, Mike and I, we talked about Will Campbell. He said 2023. He gave me too much credit. It wasn't that far back, but it was October. But it was October of last year in 2024. So I just figured that you got your quarterback. Now you go get the tackle. That's the key pairing in the NFL. So hopefully he's able to play that position. So
I think he is. I really think the arm thing is overblown. I mean, I really do.
There's so much. There's been so much made about his arm left or whatever, but hopefully just from hearing his interviews and just he clearly wanted to be here. So and to me that matters, because yes, you're going to be happy to get drafted anywhere, but like he really sounded like he wanted to be at Gillette. So that part I love. I love that they got the offense out the way, and then they went to find some defensive jewels in the late rounds. So whether that's Craig Woodson, I forget they got an edge rusher as well. I can't think of the name right now, but they did really well in my opinion, and I can't wait to see what they do as a rookie class. And I hope that you find 3 or 4 starters out this group, because if that's the case, then you're back in business.
Bobby, what did you think of that sort of non-splashy, maybe the smart money pickup at 4 from the Pats. I mean, to me, it really felt like it would have been really dumb to listen to all the sort of negative press. We've all seen Draft Day, right? Ray, have you seen Draft Day? Kevin Costner?
I never seen it, no.
Bro, you're very lucky. You're very lucky because your first viewing experience of it is a wonderful time. So I wish I could watch it again for the first time. Yeah. Shout out Kevin Costner.
I mean, love most of his movies, but that's just not one I've seen. So
you got to cue that one up when you can. You know, you can't let the noise get to you. You really can't let the noise get to you. And if they had in the position they were in, with a Travis Hunter and an Abdul Carter off the board, we talked about this pretty extensively going in. The smart money was going to get Will Campbell, like you're saying. So to me, it was just like, go do the smart thing. Like, you don't need to cause any waves. You don't need to be too clever for your own good. Don't listen to that stuff about his arms because to me, it just sounds stupid. Like, to be totally honest with you, like, I know there's a lot of advanced analytics, but we can't let fucking nerds ruin our game, guys. Okay. Can he play tackle? Show me tape of him playing tackle in college at a high level, and I'm going to go from that. Bobby, do you disagree? How do you think the Pats did? No nonsense, fourth overall pick, Will Campbell.
I completely agree. I mean, they had the 4th pick in a 3-player draft. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, they had no choice but to take the hot pick. It's not like they had a bunch of offers going up for the 4th pick. Like I said, it's a 3-player draft, so no one's offering multiple first-round picks to go up there and get it. Plus, it's a need. You know what I mean? The Cowboys kind of did the same thing at 12 where, there was a couple guys they could have got, but they went after a need, less flashy, and they're going to be better off for it in the end, I think. Will Campbell was a no-brainer pick, but not before. Definitely a no-brainer pick.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Cowboys, Ray, what'd you think of Bobby's Cowboys at 12 taking a guard?
I think that when they pick for need, that's when they usually are better. If you remember Tony Romo's last 2 years, he went up to the front office asking, hey, can you guys, fix the line? And, Jerry listened and they extended Romo's career. And for a while, Dallas had the best offensive line in football. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. So I think that's where their mindset is. I think that watching the Super Bowl, I think a lot of teams are saying, hey, we have to win the game in the trenches. And yes, that is something that is said in training camp. It's said in preseason. It's even said throughout the regular season. But a lot of teams don't put the emphasis on it the way that it once was because it's such an offensively, loaded game. And you want to get athletes on defense, so on and so forth. So I think them going, offensive guard first and then getting the edge rusher from BC, which is someone I think that a lot of Patriots fans had on their board. But I love the Henderson pick at 38. I thought that was awesome. But that edge rusher from BC is going to be awesome for you guys down there. So he's really talented. So, yeah, so I forget some other guys that they got. But like I said, the first 2 picks, I think, to me, were home runs. And the key is, can you get 2 to 3, if not more, starters when you draft these guys? And I think New England accomplished that. I think that Dallas accomplished that. And more, and most of all, I think that your Chicago Bears also, found a way to get that done as well.
Oh, you're so sweet. Bob, it was funny. You and I did a draft preview show, and we were both mispronouncing the guy you drafted second's name for the entire show. And you weren't even trying
can't pronounce it
by the end of the show to actually say it. And then he went to your team. The subtle ironies of this life that we lead. I wonder, were you happy? I'd like to hear your draft grade for your own team too. Were you happy across the first few rounds? Any big surprises? And what are you going to do at running back? Is that kid starting? What's going on there? I want you to talk me through it.
So at running back, it's going to be a candy between Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. That's going to be the starting running backs in Dallas this year. It's not jumping off the page.
Not beautiful.
It's not anything great. If they stay healthy,
not the prettiest date to the prom.
They can, but you got a date. She's a 6 or 7, a couple of beers. She might be an 8 or a 9. I do like the picks.
Yeah, a few fucking beers for that backfield bunch.
Well, yeah, you
need like a 2010 Four Loko for that backfield at this point. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I just wanted to make that joke.
Used to it. you get used to it after a couple of years. You know what I mean? After a couple of years of doing the same thing, you're like, all right. Then we got Siobhan. So I also like to pick. We have the guy from BC. He was good. Obviously, the guard from Alabama, and then Siobhan Ravel, cornerback from East Carolina. Cornerback was in need. I wanted to shout him out too because I thought he was a steal. A lot of people had him as a first or second rounder, so he was definitely a steal. We need him.
Deep cornerback draft, definitely deep running back draft. Except the Bears didn't get one, which was really annoying. But then. And I think a few gems at wide receiver early on too. But yeah, every corner that went, people were like, oh, that guy's fucking good. Like everybody that drafted a corner, people were like, oh, that dude's like fucking legit. And the nice thing I think about drafting a cornerback is you can put him on special teams right away. You know, like you can add athleticism and movement and like hard hitting shit to the special teams immediately to like see what he's got. Right. So, you know, that to me, it's like those positions go for traits. Just go for traits. Like day 3, day 4, day 5, just go for traits. Like, is he big? Is he fast? You know, can we teach him how to do X, Y, and Z like really well? Can we money bottle a little bit? I think what was your letter grade for overall there, Bob, for the Dallas Cowboys?
I'd go B plus. Not an A, but it was solid.
I'd be right. I'd be right around there for you. I agree. I think I agree with Ray's as well. His assessment of the moves the New England Patriots made. I mean, I wanted Travion Henderson. I was on record. I was banging that drum. I was pretty sure we were going to be able to get him in the second round. I was one pick off from being right about that. I think it should make you feel at least better because it made me feel better getting Luther that there was a contingent on this show who wanted that guy for their team badly. So if we can trade those like nice sentiments with each other. I know Mike's not here. I know he was the biggest sort of Luther advocate, but it does make me feel better that we got him because he was so high on them. So I wonder if it makes you guys feel better that I was on the high note with that Ohio State running back as well.
It was either, well, for me, it was either Higgins or him at 38. And I thought that's what they would look into. I thought that they would maybe think about trading 69 to get into the second round because they had to third round. So I thought that, that's where they would go. But when they picked Henderson at 38, once again, that was a big need. He fits the James White role to a T. And I think he's going to do wonderfully in McDaniels' offense. So I'm excited about that. I think that, Burden he's a really good route runner. And when you're able to create separation like that, watch out. Because Caleb has a cannon. They obviously have other weapons there. He was able to get Loveland in the first round, which people were
I also said on the prediction show is what I wanted, and I wanted him over Tyler Warren. So I'm happy.
People were splitting hairs between those two. They obviously were the top two.
I think it was a stylistic choice. I don't think it was a condemnation of Tyler Warren's ability. I think that Ben Johnson wanted the guy to fit his offense because he's more of a Sam Laporte.
I think he looked at Loveland and he saw T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Which, once again, if that's the case, then
great.
Take that all day long.
Like that to me is a home run. So, and another team that I thought did well, just outside of all the teams that we root for, I thought Houston did a phenomenal job in this draft. Nick Caserio,
talk about addressing needs.
Yeah, Nick Caserio has been phenomenal down there, building that team. They took care of a lot of their guys in the offseason, notably Stingley at corner. Then they paid another safety they had there too. So yeah, they've given CJ Stroud weapons, and I think that that's going to pay off for them in the long run. They've had a lot of injuries at the wide receiver position. They lost Diggs obviously, to us in the offseason. So they saw a need, they filled it, and their player development has been awesome down there. So I really think that they're going to be formidable.
We're high on the Texans again. We just all three of us got let down. All three of us were the most disappointed people for the Texans.
But when you had that type of draft where, and once again, it may not pay off in the immediate, but you look at year 2, year 3, year 4, so on and so forth, like they could be someone that comes right back up to be contenders. I mean, once again, yes, we thought that they would be the heir apparent to Kansas City this season. But it's not like Stroud is 31, 32. Like, he's still very young. And yes, he had a disappointing season. Nevertheless, like I will not shy away from him or change that take. But he should feel reinvigorated. He should feel renewed. and should have a new purpose going into the season. So hopefully he comes in motivated because they did well by him.
I think a quarterback his age, and I think this applies, to me and you, Ray. Bobby, I'm sure you felt this way with Dak early on. You like the idea of them getting to burrow and chase it, right? You like the idea of his main weapon, his main target also being quite a young, still moldable, still learning player, because they can grow together, and you've seen those connections get so much deeper than like a lot of randomly sort of spliced together already established talents. I feel that way about Rome Odunze, and obviously now I feel that way about Luther. I would give my Bears a B, a cautiously optimistic B. I still refuse to get drawn in again to thinking they're going to be better than they are. I haven't seen Ben Johnson coach it down as a head coach. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid this offseason. I refuse. That being said, well, I'll lead with my worries. My worries are as follows. I wish we had gotten a running back. It seemed like we were a couple of picks away in multiple rounds from getting a running back, and we had to pivot, which was frustrating. I think we should sign Nick Chubb on a flyer. To be totally honest with you, I think we need to do that. I'm glad they addressed the lines at different times. I'm glad we drafted a linebacker on traits, like I was saying earlier. I think overall, I just need to. It is really encouraging that I'm starting to see the vision that the coach has, which is not something I could ever say offensively and even at times defensively with Eberflus, because he would play this sort of like bend don't break defense that would work sometimes, but it didn't have like as much of an identity as I'd seen Bears defenses have in the past. Looking at this offense now, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, there's a lot of weapons, but was I not saying that last year, Bob? Like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of weapons. We had Keenan Allen, we had DJ Moore. He's got to get these guys playing, and there's two main offensive weapons now I've again never seen play a snap in the NFL. So yeah, it's you want to get excited, but I can't yet because it's so new. And that's a good thing. Like, it's a full refresh on the offense. The offensive line is completely different. The head coach is completely different. The offensive scheme is obviously going to be completely different in the fact that there's going to be one. That would have been really helpful last year. So yeah, it would be easy to get excited, but I have to be cautious about it because I just don't want to heap expectations on my young quarterback. I don't know. Bob, should I just get excited? Like, how do you feel how they did?
So I like the Bears draft. I like getting Luther. I think he's a really good pickup.
That's reassuring. That's good.
Well, adding him to Loveland, I mean, you got two big weapons for your young quarterback in rounds 1 and 2, and that's what you want to do. It doesn't make me feel good about the Cowboys defense. You said that the Bears defense hadn't had an identity. It was bend don't break, when he is now the new Cowboys defensive coordinator. So that should make for a fun.
No, I honestly, I really don't think that he's a bad coordinator. I really, really don't think he's a bad coordinator. I really think as an X's and O's guy on the defensive side of the ball, I think he knows what he's doing. I think hiring head coaches as coordinators is a generally good rule of thumb because there's a reason they got the head coach job in the first place. That being said, it's not going to be a situation where he needs to be stylistically imprinting himself on your defense. He just needs to make your defense play athletically and with pace and speed the way that they're built to play. If he's told to do that, I think he can do that. What was really strange about the Bears is that I think Poles put together a defense for him that was exactly that. I think we have a lot of really good athletes. I think we have a lot of speedy guys. I think we have a lot of hard hitters. And he was making them play sort of soft belly zones and like cover ones and like just, not real like smash mouth man-to-man football. I think Dennis Allen will do that. So it depends what he's being told to do. I think he's capable of doing it, but I think his approach is try your best to make the other team not score points. And I really want a defense that's like, try your best to murder their weapons and take the ball back from them. Like that's just, as a fan, like what I want. So it's not to say that he can't put together a good defense. It's just maybe not stylistically what you might be expecting. We'll see. Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you guys thought my draft was good. I'll give you guys grades. I think B+ for both of you makes sense to me. I think that I really am encouraged by the Will Campbell signing for the Patriots. I think that was the smart thing. Obviously, I was high on Henderson, so no surprise there that I think that was a good thing. The only thing I'm sort of cautious about with with the Patriots is like there was a couple of Vrabel-y picks that could be perhaps hit or perhaps miss. I think he did actually at one point in the past draft a tackle with short arms that ended up having to play guard. That actually has happened to Mike Vrabel already. So I'm hoping that luck hasn't followed him to New England. What I will say is I would have thought, even though there was sort of Vrabel-y picks like that, I would have thought like I would have seen a different sort of like one splash on a culture pickup. You know what I mean? Do you think you achieved that in the draft where it was just like, do you know what I'm talking about? Am I being too vibey?
Well, no, I mean,
Dan Campbell-y?
No, I mean, once again, we don't know. I mean, obviously, and maybe on the surface, those weren't those type of guys, but I think they went after athletes. I think they went after.
I mean, I love that.
Right, but I think they went after guys that were actually talented, and once again, and just they didn't reach for players. Like to get that center Wilson from Georgia in '95, where I think they were looking to get him at 77, but still traded back 18 spots, picked up some more picks, and they still got the guy. Like that's reminiscent of what used to happen here. Like that wasn't happening in the last few years. So that's an excellent move by Vrabel. It's an excellent move by Ryan Cowden. And, and even obviously we give more credit to Elliott Wolf. People were kind of up in arms about him saying that, they weren't organized last year and, oh, you should have kept that close to the vest and you should have put it out there. And to be honest, I'm okay with him being transparent about how last year went within a reason. Obviously, like, you don't need to put every secret out there, but it was clear that once Vrabel got hired and he brought on his guy, Ryan Cowden, that things were going to be changing. And it just didn't feel like lip service. It felt like they were going to put some action to it. And they did it in free agency. They now did it through the draft, potentially. So, there's a reason to have a glimmer of hope again. Now it's just a matter of things coming to fruition and seeing what they do on the field. But maybe that's the goal next year, is what you said. Maybe they go get guys that has a little more flash. But they went out. I mean, like I said, I think Henderson's going to be a problem. Like you said, you were high on him, as you said. But they got some guys there I think they're going to be big-time culture pieces in the future. It's just a matter of how they pan out.
I guess Will Campbell's kind of one.
Yeah.
He has that kind of quality, right?
I'm so, like I said, the interviews have helped me. Once again, I was already high on it from the jump. Yes, my mind changed when obviously we were slotted to get the number one pick, which would have meant we could have went after Hunter at one. But it's just like you got to protect the quarterback, and that shouldn't be something that should get overlooked. They made a conscious effort to invest in Drake May this offseason, and I'm thankful that the front office chose to do that, because they once again they've dropped the ball in recent memory, and I'm glad that they made a concerted effort to make sure that Drake May is not just protected, but also has weapons as well.
I like you mentioned. Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
You mentioned Travis Hunter, and I don't think we can move on from the draft without mentioning the Jags moving up and trading all those picks to get Travis Hunter.
Yeah, no,
that was a little much, I thought.
What a move! Do you think it was too much, or you think it was
a big bag? It was a big bag.
It's a big bag, but once again, if you feel, I mean, I'm not comparing him to Ricky Williams, but it's that type of overhaul.
That was too big of a bag too. That was fucking enormous.
That was when you. No, it wasn't as big as Ricky Henderson.
No,
Ricky Henderson's.
No, Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams.
But Ricky Henderson stole bags though. But
that's facts.
If you deem that the player was worth it, then I'm here for the aggressiveness. I'm here for it. So I think that was the first move of that GM, and then they mentioned on the broadcast. So I'm here for it. You think that's the guy? You feel that he's someone that can be a part of your coaching going forward? You have a rookie head coach. You have a guy that I always call it Alltel Stadium. I'm showing my age. I don't know what it's called down there, but that's what wherever the Jaguars play at.
Duval.
Yeah, there's Duval County, but I'm saying when we were growing up, it was called Alltel Stadium. I don't know what it's called now. I have no idea. But needless to say, oh, okay, there you go. Cool. You have the Atlantic Ave out there should be jumping. You now have something to root for outside of going to Zaxby's on Atlantic Ave. That was for you, Jay. What up, man? So, yeah, that's a heck of a move, like Bobby said, and that fan base should be excited. Once again, we grew up in a prime era of Jacksonville when they had Mark Brunell and Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell. Tony Baselli was a big left tackle. So they had guys back in the day, but they clearly can be a new regime that we could look at going forward with this pick. So like I said, if it's worth it, you go for it. So I have no issue with that.
Is it fair to say that, I've been on record with talking about how much Trevor Lawrence gets sort of protected by attacks from the media and like how many chances that he's gotten. I think that you guys are in sort of general agreement with me on that. We've talked about it a good amount. Is it fair to say that the Jaguars, if he can't make, this might be, sorry, I dropped my lighter. This might be harsh, but I think they need to run him out of town if he can't make Travis Hunter work. Like, I think they need to run him out of fucking town if he can't figure this out at this point. Like, we just went and got you the guy, and they went and got Tom Brady as guy. I know everybody had a lot more experience and everything, but like once you gave him the tool, he went undefeated for a whole regular season.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's like, you got to make it work. We got to see something. We got to see something early on, right? Or is that unfair? Is that harsh? Give him a few years. I don't know.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not harsh at all. Travis Hunter's electric. We saw what he did at Colorado against opponents who he was just torching the entire season. You know what I mean? He was making good players look terrible. There's a reason that he was what he ended up going? Number 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not harsh at all. He needs to make this work. And they already have a couple weapons down there. They got Thomas, the wide receiver they just drafted last year. So not only do they have Travis Hunter, but they already have a number 1 down there. So it's not like Hunter's the only piece there. I think lost Ingram, but yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, they have lots to be excited about. No, I was trying to make the point, but I was like, I wanted Bobby to chime in. I was like, maybe dropping your lighter was a symbol. Like, he obviously needs to reenact the fire.
Nah, what was cute though is my dog found it for me. I was looking around for it, and she just like nuzzled it over to me. I was like, wow, thanks. What a little companion.
Another reference.
Look at that.
They need some dollars in the locker room, so someone's got to someone's got to give. So
the size of the fight in the dog, gentlemen.
There you go. Hey, one last thing, and I can't believe that I forgot this because I was so excited about this pick. I can't believe I didn't bring it up. The 3rd round pick, Kyle Williams.
The wide receiver, he's good.
I'm all in. Like, I'm all in until obviously things go right or left. But just looking at his tape, I was like, yeah, they don't have this right now on the team, and he can play inside, he can play outside, and I'm like, to me, he does everything Pop can do, but he's bigger. And if that's the case, hey, like we got us one. So hopefully he's able to to learn the system really well and be a high impact player right away.
I like it. One of the many Shamars of the draft went to the Bears. I'm really excited about him. All the athletic tools that you could possibly ask for. Downside, bit of a temper, which I like. That's the kind of quality. That's the kind of downside quality you want in in a day 2, day 3 pick. It's like, all right, well, maybe I can change him, or maybe I don't have to. And Ndamukong Suh just like stayed that guy. Just saying. So
stomping on people his entire career.
He went number 2.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying he's that, but he's got all the athletic tools. He's a nose tackle. We needed to strengthen the middle of our line. We needed to strengthen the O-line. We addressed both on day 2, which I'm really happy about. I'm really glad you guys are happy too. Let's see how it works out for all of our teams, and also the Jaguars and the Texans, who we also touched on briefly. Thanks for highlighting those. I think it's time we moved on to the National Basketball Association and the wonderful goings-on in the Western Conference. I'm going to power through the kind of, total shutout, who gives a shit, like that, what a round 1 sweep, like NBA's pissed, there's too many 4-0s. We got that, right? But the Thunder and the Grizzlies, I wrote in my notes that the Grizzlies should be disbanded as an organization. Honestly, that was yikes. I was trying to rev myself up, Ray, for the like, maybe we didn't take the Thunder as seriously as we should have this year conversation, which maybe still is coming, depending on like what we see over the course of the next pieces of playoffs, but I don't think the Grizzlies were testing that. I really don't. They did fuck all.
Yeah. Listen, OKC absolutely is better than what they were last year. So let's get
Of course.
that.
I'm not taking it
No, I know.
away.
I know because we were, mainly me, came off dismissive to their talent. So I want to put it out there. Listen, they are obviously better than they were last year. And yes, they did what they were supposed to do. which is take care of business early, and they did. To the Memphis Grizzlies point, I'm not sure they could run it back with this version of the team, right? You let go of Taylor Jenkins, obviously, which I think that pretty much that ended their season there, right? Obviously, we'll get into another team that lost their coach and how they're playing, but we'll get into that later on. But
it's a series I'm actually excited to talk about.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. But I mean, with Memphis, they have a lot of questions that need to be answered in the offseason.
Are you saying trade Jaws? That what you're saying?
I'm looking at it.
That's what I was just gonna say. Jaws got to be on the block. If it's up to me,
absolutely. So I think about
what's his value.
He's someone that's a 20-10 guy in this league when he's healthy, and you absolutely can get value for that.
I know, but
so hey, listen,
it's at an all-time low. It's at an all-time low.
Some good players was on here a couple weeks ago, and rightfully so. Like the dude is lethal when he's healthy, so he's a lethal weapon. But no,
hey,
that's one of my favorite movies. I love Mel Gibson, love that he did cover, but I think that they looked to move on from him. To me, I looked to move on from Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane. I didn't blow it all up. They are what the Celtics were going into the 2022-2023 season. You plateaued.
I think that's being generous too.
That's very generous. Yeah.
But I'm like, it's generous, but it's honest. Like they plateaued and they had a good
Celtics run. Celtics have more success than the Grizzlies, though.
Sure, but I'm like,
even leading up to that era too.
Neither team, unfortunately got it done with that version. So, and once again, they got Marcus Smart from Boston and they traded him to Washington. So it's just like, it was kind of confusing on some of the moves.
What a myth Marcus Smart being a culture guy was. And I think we all had suspected that by the time we traded him. And maybe that was an unsalvageable situation, but I don't think any of us were like, that didn't pass the smell test when he went there with any of us. We had watched him for all that time, and the collective shrug of Celtics fans for Marcus Smart, by the time he actually left, based on what we got back.
Yeah, but it was crazy. His body has failed him since he's left here. So I do think there's something.
We maximized our profit on him so hard.
Absolutely.
So hard, bro.
He played. He is someone that will give his all. Obviously, we saw that many nights here. So I'm not. Yeah,
but there was also, by your own admission, there was times where it was Marcus let other people say that.
Oh yeah. But
Marcus, come on, dude.
Absolutely. But it's just for me, to me was the signal of things beginning to shift there because you lose or you choose to move on from him. They had many injuries, and then you draft once again. You draft Zach Edey, which I enjoyed his game in college. But for the modern NBA, him and guys like him and Donovan Clingan, I'm not sure have a long career in the NBA. How is put together right now. So those guys might be better overseas, to be honest. So I just say that to say Memphis got to blow it up. But like I said, OKC did what they were supposed to do, man. And SGA was great. And like I said, they should run through whoever they play in the next round. Even though there's a certain team that they do face, I think would give them problems, but just a matter of if they'll get there or not. But yeah, this is more than we talked about a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I think that it's time to make major changes in Memphis for sure.
Jalen Williams is such a stud. Yes. He is such a stud, and I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league. I think he's going to be one of the keys to the Thunder making that run to the finals for sure. Lou Dort. I know SGA is going to do SGA things, but if those two guys show up and they're big three, along with Chet too, OKC is in business, man. They're in business in the West.
I can't wait to see Lou Dort versus Naz Reid. That's really what I'm hoping for as a matchup. I'm just like that. I feel like those guys are the same archetype, and what they're contributing to their teams right now in the playoffs are the same archetype. I can't get off the 22-23 Celtics without saying, I just want to go on the record again that I despised the culture we had here for that team. And having to watch Grant Williams play basketball was one of the low points of my basketball watching experience. And I know you had a couple shut me up games, but that culminated in Draymond Green looking at him on TV and being like, you thought you were me, but you're not. And Grant being like, yeah, You're right.
Yeah, that happened. That did happen.
Like, I mean, that was just like that was the moment I knew we weren't winning that fucking series. Just so you know.
Your stance on Grant, not that you need my vindication, but it was vindicated once he got to Dallas.
Traded his ass so fast.
For the record, I do need your vindication. I desperately need validation from everyone in this room right now. So don't get it twisted. I crave it. Please.
No, well, cool, good to know. But I said it to say it's just like and once again, you have to think highly of yourself at that level in order to make it. So that's dumb, right?
But there's thinking highly of yourself. Shut the fuck up, also though.
Right,
some guys got to go about doing their work in silence, you know.
And once again, I think that obviously, you know, he thought highly of himself and he thought more of himself than, you know, his fellow teamers did, which is fine. That happens. You have players in the league that come and go like that. But yeah, he's I think 27 now. Like, so he's not, you know, super old, but he's gonna have to find a way to reinvent his career when he comes back from injury, you know, in next season. I mean, I know he'll still be in Charlotte because I don't think Charlotte's moving off of him, but yeah, that was let's see, yeah, whatever negative traits that he, you know, portrayed was in full swing by the time we got to Dallas. So, and once again, we became a better team for it.
Yeah,
once you land guys like Porzingis and you land guys like Holiday, it's really a no-brainer to move certain guys, you know, to improve your roster. So,
I gotta say, I mean, I'm just rolling tape right now in my head of like him trying to do the motivational speeches. Bobby, do you remember that? When he would just be like, you know, doing the fucking slapping his hand like in the thing, and like you would just look at everybody else in the huddle, and they would all just be like so disinterested, like just rolling their fucking eyes, just like, okay, Grant. Like Marcus Smart was the worst for it too. Like he would just walk away from the like circle of people when that was happening. It was diabolical, honestly. It was hard era to live through. When we talk about the Celtics of today and they're taking care of business about the Orlando Magic, I have like a lot of questions about Sam Hauser playing meaningful playoff minutes. And I know I keep baiting that hook and throwing it into the lake of our Discord, but I just have so many questions because I'm not sure that I've seen him do anything in 6 months. And I mean that holistically, like do anything. So I'm just curious, like, what is he contributing?
Yeah, I mean, we can get into that. I mean, Bobby, if you
let's just do it now.
No, you go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, bro.
So, yeah, no, I felt the fury from your messages because usually you're pretty chill, pretty laid back. If anything, I'm the one that kind of says something wild in this regard. But yeah, no, I felt it. I think that he did have a regression from last year to this year for sure. He was hampered by injury a lot of this year as well. So I think that played more of a part than we know. And even just kind of seeing him sometimes walking around the CD like he wasn't always himself. But the only reason why I say that there's a chance for him to redeem himself is that the next round won't be as physical as this was. And so him, Pritchard, even Porzingis to an extent, right? Those guys did not handle the physicality in the series well. They just didn't.
No.
And styles make fights. And because New York is more of a finesse team and Detroit they just don't have the wings to deal with us. If they're able to get past New York.
I mean, Detroit, I genuinely think Detroit might be. I like Detroit, and we'll talk about this, but they're a dream matchup for us. They're an absolute tailor-made dream matchup.
They're not as good. Excuse me, as Orlando, and I wasn't gonna. I love Cade.
I think they're better than Orlando.
At least they can shoot. Orlando can't shoot.
They can shoot a little bit better
for their life.
We would have to deal with Cade Cunningham in a real way. You know,
we handled. I mean, we didn't have an answer for Banchero, and they lost to 5.
Well,
so.
I mean, matchup wise, it really works because of what our backcourt actually looks like and like what we can throw at him.
Right.
I don't think we're gonna be playing them, to be honest. But like, I mean, damn, like their weapons would be nullified so fast against them.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But I just think that just to finish up the Hauser point, I just think that with him, I think that he'll be able to redeem himself next series because the style of how either of those teams play is different. Orlando, because he is a 3-point specialist, and so is Pritchard, and some of the other guys on the team. Orlando was adamantly trying to get us or run us off the 3, and they did a very good job at that. So,
well, we knew that going into the series that was
no, right. But I'm saying you could know it going in, but it's different when you're seeing it 4 or 5 times in a row, right? And you look to make some adjustments, and some games they did, some games they didn't. But obviously, when you win 4-1, like none of that matters at that moment. To me, I don't care. I did I kept saying it last year. I don't care how it looks. figure it out. Find a way to win. And they did. Survive in advance, baby. Like bring on round 2.
Yeah. What do you think, Bob? What do you think of that Orlando Magic team? I feel like if they're one actual legitimate playmaker away from not having Wagner and Banchero on islands constantly, and all of a sudden they're way, way, way harder to deal with on the offensive side of the ball. But they are physical. You could say physical, or you could also say they're a little fucking cheap. To be honest, there was a couple moments like I thought we overreacted to a couple things. Like I thought we got kind of like there was a couple challenges in the series, but I was like, I don't think that was even really a foul. Like whatever. I didn't appreciate Jason Tatum getting bumped out of the fucking air in midair, like on his hip. I think you know what you're fucking doing there. And
just like what happened with
yeah,
y'all.
yeah. And I also don't think I mean, I just think you got to call it a flagrant foul on results when you fucking drop people's elbow on fucking Kristaps Porzingis' face, and he's gonna fucking tomahawk scar for the remainder of the fucking series. Like, I just thought, I mean, I don't like bitching about the refs, and I don't think the Celtics should ever bitch about the refs. I think that they should suck it up. I mean, I think the Hawks did that to us in 08, and that big three were just like, whatever. They're physical. They took us to 7 because they're physical. They're really good athletes. We're fucking old. We still beat them because we're better. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to make of them at this point. But I really do think offensively they were just in dire need of somebody who could really move the ball around, because like it would just be like, all right, Franz Wagner's going. Okay, now Banchero's gonna go. Okay, and it's just like, dude, that's not sustainable to win a playoff series against a team as good as the Celtics, or really like any team. So you need to go get somebody. Speaking of Ja Morant, I mean, Jesus, if you popped him in there, and they didn't have to give up a whole hell of a lot. On that note, I think Ja Morant's staying where he is, because I think that the Grizzlies are going to be like, oh, we can't get enough for him to justify the trade. So we might as well keep the asset and see if we can like raise its stock up a little bit more. But
maybe they'll trade him straight up for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I mean,
you imagine?
That would be pretty crazy. I mean, if we're talking possible destinations, let's briefly touch on the. No, I want to hear your point. Sorry, Bobby, you're going to say about the Orlando Magic. You had a couple.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Suggs is the guy that they're missing, and he's already on the team, and he was just been hurt. That was their problem pretty much all season. I mean, you give credit to a team that was out Banchero and out Wagner for most of the season, and still ended up the 7th seed. In my opinion, I think they're just as good as the Bucks. They're just as good as maybe not the Pacers, but I think that they would take the Knicks when they're at full healthy to a pretty good series. I think the Magic are probably one of the up and coming team in the East. If they add shooting, that's all they need, man. I mean, KCP is not doing it as your deep shooting threat. You know what I mean? KCP is a glue guy. He's not a guy that you rely on to hit your 3-pointers when you're down big in a playoff game.
He really what I mean? They just annoyed me for that whole series, which probably is a good sign for like if you're a Magic fan. Like he really was.
Well, that's what he's supposed to do. That's what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be that guy that just annoys the shit out of you. He's not supposed to be a guy that you rely on a pest for actual scoring. Right.
He's like what people think Dylan Brooks is in the pest department. But Dylan Brooks actually just does the wrong thing. He like ignites playoff Jimmy Butler by accident. Except for tonight, I guess did they get their asses handed to them? The last I checked, the Warriors were down big to the Rockets.
Oh, okay. It's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I think the Magic are shooting away. They need shooting really bad. Without it, I mean, they have, like you said, it's just ISO after ISO, and it's two guys that don't have step back shot, which is killer when you go to ISO game. You know what I mean? Like Tatum and Brown, when they go to ISO game, they can do it because they have a jumper that they can just hit in contested positions.
Wagner, that's actually a good transition point, because we should actually talk about Jason Tatum's scoring ability in that first round. I mean, I know, Ray, you're always down to do this because of basically the sort of overall toxicity that's always come his way over the past few years. you got to give credit where credit's due. Bobby's talking now about, that their sort of scorers being on an island, not being able to create their own shots. The contrast of our guy and what he's able to do, it was really shocking, I thought. Some of the ways he was getting scoring done, 8 feet from the basket, all the way back to the 3-point line. Like, you're constantly on about scoring at every level. Like, that to me, it just looked like the kind it was the kind of offensive game you've like pretended you're having in your head. You know what I mean? Like, he's just doing all the things. He's doing all the shots you can think of. He's doing all the moves you can think of. His finishing around the basket, I honestly think I would say it's 10 times better than it was 3 years ago. Like, I really think like it's just more likely. He's more likely to go to the line on an and one now. He's more likely to be able to score at different levels. He's more likely to be able to play make if he needs to lock into that mode. This to me feels like finally, I know it felt like a long time, but this really feels like his final form. It feels like he's gone Super Saiyan now. And for whatever he does from this point on, unless he has a LeBron type like iterations and eras career, I don't know. But if we're following the natural progression of an athlete, I think we've entered Jason Tatum's prime. And I think that this is what we're getting. And I think this is the finished product, and I think we should be delighted with that. Because I also think this is going to be the year where he adds that last thing, which is shows up huge in the finals. That's what I'm really hoping for him. Obviously, that's what we're all really hoping for. That's the thing he has to do to sort of be cemented and have the rest of the league look at him the way we look at him. But I really think this version of him is the one that's going to do that. So, please, I mean, I've given him his flowers. Like, the floor is yours on JT and that stellar playoff performance so far.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that he always had to improve on was his playmaking. And Orlando forced him to be a playmaker this series. And when he needed to, he got others involved. And for him to trust his teammates puts his team in a different level, right? Him and JB, honestly, becoming better playmakers. So, you love to see it. Scoring-wise, we collectively, because it's not just me, collectively, we have told you on this show there's nothing he can't do. And you can say we're being cocky, you can say we're being arrogant, okay? But we've been telling you on this show that there's nothing he can't do offensively. You cannot guard him when he is locked in and focused and saying, basically has that FU mentality. You cannot guard him. And once again, that's not an opinion. It's a fact. And one thing I always say on here: men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And he showed you 3 games in a row this series, 30, 37, 36, 35. Once again, it still works. So
love that. I love that celebration.
Right, the rest of the East and the rest of the NBA fall in line because it's Zero's time. Period. It's his time.
The way that go ahead, Bob.
I love what Joe Mazzulla does for Tatum. I feel like he really pushes Tatum hardcore. Even when Tatum went down hard, when he was like, I think it was dude, get up. Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, he was really pushing Tatum to a different level. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that because, I mean, if you have a guy who's already All-NBA 3 years in a row and still feels like he has a chip on his shoulder, that's something special right there.
But but back to you, Dave, because there was no one harder on Joe. I want to give you the floor to speak to the job that Joe has done, because he is night and day from where he was three seasons ago. So I would love for you to elaborate on what you've seen from him in this stretch, because obviously he's improved, but as someone who wasn't completely sold, and we weren't completely sold, but you were kind of leading that pitchfork with us. So just speak to how he's been improving in your mind.
I think just Joe Mazzulla is great. I think for all the reasons Bobby was just saying, like, I do think he's a really good motivator for the team. I think he knows how to talk to this team specifically. Like, I think he understands the team that he has, and I think he understands the strengths and weaknesses of his players. I think he's come into his own as a person, and I think he's a little crazy, which I may have initially thought that was stupidity, but it was just craziness because he was on another planet. I still get annoyed with some of the rotation minutes that he does. I still get annoyed when we call timeouts when we're on 10-0 streaks and we kill our own momentum. I don't think that he's a great sideline playmaker. I don't know if he's the best guy in the circle when we need to like get a point with like a second left on the clock. I thought that we could have 4-0'd this team, and this is me nitpicking, okay? I am nitpicking, but I thought we could have 4-0'd this team if he had a little bit more game awareness when we didn't get time put back on the clock at the end of that game that we lost. I think that if he had have understood what was happening there, the only way that you're going to understand what's happening there is if you're very aware of the play you're about to call, and then the play that we call was dumb as fuck, and it didn't do anything. Even though I was like, do the Rajon Rondo layup at the basket from Paul Pierce if we only have the against the Miami Heat, you all remember. Do that play, right? Like, do that. But the cool thing about that play is that we sent a small athletic guy to the hoop and had like our scorer make the pass, so it confused them on the inbound. So that, because the thing is, like, we're gonna kill Doc Rivers in a little bit. Like, we're gonna finally take him outside the woodshed. But like, he could draw plays. He could draw plays from side out. Like, he really could, and still can, to be quite honest with you. But
yeah,
Joe needs to come a little bit farther tactically, in my opinion, and a little bit his game awareness needs to go up. But yes, of course, my mind is definitely changed from where it was. I was very worried he was a full blown idiot.
Yeah. Their go-to play at the end of the game, depending on the situation, is usually, because they did it against Cleveland. I think they did it sometimes in the playoffs last year as well. Tatum will be on the other side. Like they'll get it at half court. Tatum will be on the other side of the court, and everyone will be spread out. And Tatum just does a full sprint to the basket. Now, you saw it the other night when he got there. Might have been last night, actually. It was last night where they ran that play. He gets the dunk, whatever. But to me, why that play is so effective is because usually, excuse me, teams are going to cave to Tatum, obviously.
Yeah, they're going to collapse on him every time.
You usually either have Pritchard in the corner or Horford in the corner or, JB in the corner or, KP. So the play is almost foolproof because you're either going to get a Tatum layup or dunk, or you're going to get a wide open three. So I just think if they continue to work variations of that play, I think that that's a play that will work damn near every time, and I'm fine with that. But to me, game 3, yes, there was some situational awareness that needed to happen, as that's like that with every game. But obviously there was more. That was the closest game they had all series. With that, there were so many things. There were so many things that had to go wrong in order for Orlando to win that game. After that, I was like, oh, if it takes this much, they'll be going to Cancun soon.
Yeah. No, I was pretty sure it was still going to be a gentleman's sweep as well, obviously.
But there's always people that freak out. I mean, I'm saying, obviously you did, but I'm saying there's always like, I can't believe it ain't get X, done. It's like, yo, take a deep breath. Like, so much stuff had to go wrong. And once again,
and you got to give the Magic a little credit. You know what I mean?
I think we did.
Yeah,
right. We had a nice moment segment on the Magic there.
Listen, I told the Magic security guard last night, Ben Carroll is going to be a problem, and not just in the East, but in the league for years to come. Like he's like that. Like he's a problem.
If he develops a 3-point jumper, it's all over.
He'd be Tatum. He'd be Tatum. He's a bigger version of Tatum. He's 6'10", about 245, 250. I was real close to him. I was like, oh, I didn't realize he was this big. Like he's. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. He's strong. It's just like, I'm like, wow, okay. He just has a better post game, because he plays down low. But yeah, no, Wagner's not a number 2. He's just not. He'd be an amazing number 3 though. And to your point about Suggs, I know, Bobby, you brought up Suggs earlier. Suggs is not a table setter. So that's why, to me, like, he's kind of like, their version of Marcus Smart or Derek White, whatever player you want to use in that comparison. Suggs is a phenomenal defender. He doesn't give you much offensively. And that's going to hinder them in the future because he could really guard. But if you can't get 15 a night with 7 to 8 assists, you put a hindrance on their offense potential.
Yeah. All right. Let's breeze through the rest of these. I'm really glad the Celtics won the series. I am happy about the potential matchup. I agree with you about our matching up against the Knicks. I'd like to see the Pistons come back, but it seems unlikely at this point. I think it was kind of bullshit. That was it game 3? Was it? No, man, it must have been game 4 when when the Knicks went up. But that end of game play was absolute horse shit. Like that's a really bad missed call to like really swing a series. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
They called the same thing for Jimmy and against.
I know.
It's Houston. I'm just like,
I know.
Let's context. Shout out to Charles Barkley for throwing it out. So it was like, it's the same. It's the same play.
Yeah, that was really frustrating, especially because I'm really cheering for the Pistons, not because I'm worried about a matchup for the Celtics either way. I just like the team. I like how they're kind of set up. I like the story, the turnaround. I like watching Cade Cunningham when he's at his best. He has a little bit of a Tyrese Halliburton thing in his head where he has to like remember he's the best guy. I think like he needs to just like remind himself that he can like go and get whatever he wants like a lot of the time. But I'm interested in seeing his development. I think we got so many good young guards and I mean there's just talent pool in the NBA is actually crazy when you look at these playoffs, and you'd think there would actually be more parity across the East, but we'll see what happens with the Knicks and Pistons. We'll keep a closer eye on that if the inevitable doesn't happen. Pacers Bucks I want to touch on briefly just as we make our way back across the Eastern Conference. I thought the Pacers were really impressive. I think that Halliburton getting most overrated, I think we were all pretty against. I think that I forget who it was exactly I talked to. It might have been Mike. It might have been a show me and Mike did where we were like most overrated Tyrese Halliburton. Like he has that thing, like I just said, where he really needs to like remind himself that he can go get like he can blow by a guy like anytime he wants and like he can go get a bucket.
He blew by Giannis 4 times in a row.
Yeah, who's an absolutely elite defender. I think that Giannis was getting put. I mean, we can kill Doc a little bit later if you want. We might want to wait for Mike for that because honestly, I think Giannis was getting put in some really bad drop positions against the Pacers in really key moments. And I'm just like, why are you set up like this? Like this didn't make any sense to me. But I think you could see this sort of dysfunction in the Bucks. And then once Dame went down, I felt bad for them because obviously that was all she wrote in the series. Once that happened, I felt bad for Dame. He obviously worked his ass off to get back from that blood clot issue, and he wanted to be on the floor, and then that happening is obviously heartbreaking. I mean, that happened to us in different circumstances. Game 1, of the whole season, in our big exciting trade, and Gordon Hayward's fucking ankle it snaps in half, and he's never the same, right? So I don't like wishing injuries on our rivals. Like that sucked. I didn't like that at all. And we were just talking about how it sucks for the Bucks, man, and how they've honestly had the worst injury luck of any team in the past few years. Do I think it was smart to trade away the 3 guys core that won them a championship? Do I think they gave up on them too early? Yeah, but I think they're about to lose Giannis. I think we just saw Giannis play his last game as a Buck. I think you could just sort of feel it. So it sucks how that went for them. I think it was a bad mixture of luck and a couple of really poor decisions over the last couple of years when they were trying to make a splash to like keep it together, but I don't want that to take anything away from the Pacers. So I don't know. What was the general read that you had on it, Bob? Was it a pro Pacers series or like alas, our Milwaukee Bucks, that experiment is over?
Well, if it is Giannis' last game as a Buck, he went out with a bang, but he had 37, 20, and 10. So like he's unbelievable. I think this is more the Pacers are pretty good. I think the Pacers are the second or third best team in the East. I think they can actually give the Cavs a pretty good shot in the next series.
I hope they do.
if Halliburton plays like he did when he's on fire and he did at the ends of the game in Game 5, then they're in business for sure.
His dad's a strange guy.
I gotta say that whole thing was very weird, and I gotta say Giannis is one of the most intimidating men in the entire world.
And he's kind of a savage too. Like he knows how to play the media game, but I do think he's got a little bit of a temper. I've seen some flare-ups over the years.
Well, and it looked like he was going to kill his dad with his eyeballs. That's what I thought.
He showed some restraint, I think, to be quite honest with you, because I think that old man could have been murdered in front of all of us. I mean, I get being psyched up for your kid, but like, come on, man. He was just out there competing. He was out there giving it everything he fucking had, and like they just got sent home. Like that's fucked up. Don't do that.
But as far as Doc Rivers goes, he's out as well in Milwaukee too. I think they blow the whole thing up. The worst part about the whole thing is they don't even have any picks. They dismantled their own team, and they don't have any picks going forward. So even if they trade Giannis,
they
can't tank. Right. So there's no real point unless you're actually getting assets back and hoping that you can kind of still compete moving forward. I saw some buzz Giannis to the Thunder, which would be crazy.
That would be fucking crazy.
Break the NBA.
Ray, what would you do in that situation if a parent of one of the athletes wandered onto the court and started talking shit to the superstar of the other team? Do you bounce him?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely gotta get him out of there. I mean, I'd probably laugh afterwards, but in a moment,
it was fucking deranged.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, I mean, this is, and Dave, you probably know where I'm going with this. This is why I talk about not caring about small markets, because stuff like this is exactly why. Give me New York, give me Boston, LA, Chicago. Like, just because you only have a 2 or 3 year window with these small market teams. Once again, you're not going to be Reggie Miller's Pacers that was contenders in the East for a while.
They kind of have that vibe though.
They do, but it's just, no. I'm saying the Pacers. I'm saying, but this Bucks team. So it's like,
yeah,
they got very old very quickly.
Yeah.
And once again, when you trade away Holiday, you trade away Middleton, you trade away Grayson Allen, who people can say what they want, but like he was a really good role player for them. DiVincenzo gone. Like, there were so many guys on that team that contributed to winning basketball that was no longer on the team. So you're making moves on the fly because you're doing what you feel Giannis is gonna make him happy. And listen, name-wise, you do the Dame Lillard Jrue Holiday trade 10 out of 10 times. Let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves. But there is a thing called chemistry, and chemistry is what they had, and it got ruined the day that trade happened. But once again, you feel pressured because you're like, well, we got to make Giannis happy, and and it's just like, now you have no future assets, as Bobby alluded to. You have an aging roster. I think losing Bobby Portis for them was huge at the end of the year. Because I think that he was something. He's their sixth man of the year over there. So it was hard, but at the end of the day, if I am Milwaukee, I would absolutely call up OKC and say, will you give us Chet Holmgren? Because I would do that in a heartbeat. I would do that in a heartbeat if I'm them. Absolutely. Because that's how you get back some of those picks. You that's the only team that you could trade them to, that you get some assets back.
What about the San Antonio Spurs?
Imagine Wemby and Giannis on the same team.
Yeah. What about the San Antonio Spurs? They have assets.
I mean, 2K wise, absolutely. That would be monsters. That'd be crazy.
That would be Tim Duncan and fucking David Robinson again.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fun. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I like when the Spurs are good.
But seeing him in OKC once again, because that keeps the small market thing and keeps that going. I guess you can say it's a small market too. But I think basketball wise, it makes more sense if he's with SGA instead of Wemby.
I mean, both things would be crazy. I do hope he goes somewhere like good, because I feel sort of bad for him as everything sort of collapsed around him. Yeah, they've been flirting.
Because Miami Heat fans of the Philadelphia Eagles of the NBA, they think that everybody that's on the trade block is coming to them.
The problem with Miami is they suck. So
yeah, all their players were playing. It's not like they're like, oh, we have this asset that was just hurt. They're like, all their players are playing, and they were fucking god awful against the Cavs. Like they were in that last game was embarrassing.
You know what it was, and to transition to that series. And actually, Mike called this, right? So, game one, Cleveland comes out there, kills them. And then Mike said, okay, don't be surprised if Miami wins game two. Miami was up. They
fucking choked.
And
that was the moment.
That's what I'm saying. So, when they lost game two, and that was the best they played all series, it was like, well, if we can't win this game,
they were out. Yeah.
It was like, once again, it warmed my heart. Like, I'm not leaving any type of.
No, fuck those guys.
Totally. But I'm saying, so
I hate the people.
And the thing is, once again, it's not the team, it's the fan base. That's how I'm like Stephen A. when it comes in. It's not the team, it's the fan base. The fan base.
Also, it's the team.
No, it's like for
It's
me,
the fan base.
I
It's not the team, but also the team.
you're in LA, and you know, but like I'm like it's I lived out there in Miami. Like it's the fan base. Like they're very delusional, and it's just like to think that once again, 2013 is a long time ago, long time. And yes, it was great. You know, once again, it was great to see, you know, Wade, James, and Bosh. It was great. It was awesome. It was awesome. But, you know, 2013 is a long time ago. And once again, we give credit to Spo a lot for what happened in 2020 and 2023, which is cool. It was nice runs. It was great runs for that matter. But, you know, he didn't get the job done in that regard. And he gets a lot of passes. He gets a lot of passes because the teams play hard, and that's wild to me. So, I'm no longer letting it slide. Every time I can slander them, I'm going forward.
Good. Well, good thing you have a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that series was absolutely trash. I don't want to waste any more time on it. I'm glad we don't have to talk about both the Grizzlies and the Heat. I'm glad they're gone. I really do want to have a substantial amount of time to talk about either the Nuggets and the Clippers or the Lakers and the Timberwolves. And I think the Nuggets and the Clippers is the slightly more interesting series. So I'm going to dedicate more time to that. Let's quickly just touch on Lakers Timberwolves. You guys surprised? I did try to tell you that Anthony Edwards had upgraded. And it was a different situation there. And they were deeper and they played better defense. And everybody was fucking dick sucking the Lakers. And I'm not saying the series is over. You know, I've seen LeBron James come back from 3-1 deficits in the past in substantial ways. Luka Doncic is still a hell of a player, but JJ Redick does not trust a guy sixth on the rotation or onwards. Everybody's got to play 41 minutes. It's very difficult to ask a 40-year-old to do that, even if he is an absolute fucking freak of nature. And he is, because I thought his defensive performance in the game that the Lakers won was fantastic. And that was a fully vintage LeBron performance. But you can't ask him to do that across a 7-game series that has players of the talent that the Timberwolves have. And they're able to hide Rudy Gobert, who is an absolute fucking liability and one of the stupidest players I've ever seen play basketball. But I still like the rest of the team. I'm a fan of Anthony Edwards. I'm happy that they're doing as good as they are. I'm excited to watch this game tonight. What do you guys think so far?
Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm not surprised at all. You look at what Timberwolves have the most of, besides Anthony Edwards. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is a freak. They have size. They have size that can shoot and that can spread the floor.
Yeah, they're built to beat the Nuggets, dude.
Yeah, and they're built to beat the Lakers, too, because the Lakers literally don't have any size whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, Jackson Hayes isn't even playing minutes anymore. They don't have a true 5 on the roster that plays actual minutes in this series. So when you have guys like Naz Reid and Gobert, I mean, I know Gobert's a liability on offense, but you don't even have a guy that can contest with them on defense. He's just there protecting the rim the entire time. So
yeah, dude,
I'm a little surprised that it's as much as a blowout as it is because they have LeBron and because they have Luka. I thought maybe they'd put up a little bit more of a fight, but no, it's not surprising just because how the Wolves are built.
You're not even a little bit surprised that Austin Reeves is a complete non-factor in this series. You're not like with all the fucking glazing that people have been doing for him for the entire like he's the third man. He's been fucking missing.
But we just talked about this. You know, with our team, styles make fights, and there might have been a whole other series where Austin Reeves would have went crazy, but I haven't watched every game, but I'm sure that he's at times been on Ant. I'm sure there's times that he's been on me.
Yeah, we said this. He has too much to do.
No, right.
There's too many things to go through the small forward position.
Right. So athletically, it's a lot. And the thing is, I don't say we on the show. I'm saying just we as an NBA fan.
The royal we.
We usually the royal right. Yeah. It took. Well, now this would be game 86 because they were down 3-1. It took game 86 to see JJ Redick completely exposed as a coach.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, listen.
He has no ideas.
He had to get to go 50-32. Once again, is an excellent first season record. Like, you know, he in most seasons, he would have got coach of the year, right? Well, like I said, JB Bickerstaff, to me, should get that in Detroit, in my opinion. But what I've seen from them is they're all in offensively, right? They can score, but it showed in the finals against us last year. Well, it showed before that, but it really got exposed in the finals that Luka really cannot guard. and we fantasize about what he can do offensively because he's a walking triple double when he's on, and we put a lot of stock into that. And I'm just waiting for fans to completely turn on him like they turned on Westbrook. Maybe they won't, but they should, because that's basically, y'all killed what y'all was riding Westbrook for a while. He's missing triple double. Then after a while, y'all said he was stat padding. Well, Luka does the same thing.
I never liked him, just for the record.
Yeah,
I always thought he made an offense worse, except for weirdly when he's on the Nuggets bench. But yes,
right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but what I mean is just like I'm waiting for the narrative to change, because once again, the narrative was, Luka's this player, he's a top 3 player, he's this, he's that, and once again had a great Western Conference Finals. Once again, me and you did some of my favorite shows. With you was during that run last year. We was up at 1 a.m. We was at 1 a.m. doing post game shows. Like it was awesome. People commenting about my shirts or whatever. Like but it is what it is. So I won't forget that. But I don't know. I just think, to me, he's got exposed. Talking about Luka, JJ Redick's gotten exposed, and once again, you can't go in. And once again, sometimes you just can't make adjustments, and that's what's happening. You can't make adjustments because you just don't have the personnel, and you got your rosters to get them type of players, and that's what happened. So,
yeah. What do you guys think is going to happen? Bobby, you think they're going to go home tonight?
I think
nobody's picking the Lakers, right, at this point?
Yeah. I think we get one vintage LeBron performance.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they won one.
I think the Lakers. Yeah, I think Lakers win tonight, and then
because they're at home tonight.
Yeah, they're in LA. I think we get a LeBron performance tonight, 30 and 10 and 10.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
triple double,
totally.
or close to it.
He can still be undeniable, especially when Luka can also contribute like that effectively offensively. And also, I think we've seen this Timberwolves team kind of go like, it's fine. They're kind of one of those teams. They're like, well, it's all right. We'll get him back. We'll get him back over here.
When Jaden McDaniels is an X factor and like such a key contributor in this series, and it's a problem for the Lakers, because there's no way Jaden McDaniels should be outplaying the entire Lakers roster.
No, I mean, he's not going to produce like he's been producing offensively when they play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, that's obviously true, or if they play the Oklahoma City Thunder, I should say. But like, there's a lot, there's still a big uphill battle for the Timberwolves, I think, to climb. But I sort of always knew they were going to be a little bit better than the Los Angeles Lakers. Any final thoughts on these guys?
I mean, it's still been really good basketball across the board.
Yeah.
Serious.
I agree with you about JJ Redick, though. I really think that was like that came thick and fast.
He'll learn from it. Well, hopefully he'll learn from it. But I just ask that people have the same energy for JJ Redick as y'all did for Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham got to the conference finals. So.
I don't think so. I think they're going to probably give JJ a lot more rope.
Historical, but just
I wonder why.
Breaking, not really breaking news, but just an update. So there will be a game 6 in the 2-7 matchup out west. Houston is up 15 with 13 seconds left. So
thank you for the update. I think that was maybe to be expected. I still am back in Golden State in that series, though. At this point, I just think they look so much better, and I think that this absolute ceiling for Jimmy and Steph is what's happening. At least in that series, we'll see how it goes.
If Sengun isn't dominating in the half court, Houston has no offense. They literally have nothing.
Well,
I think people kill Jalen Green a little bit too hard, to be honest with you. I think he's like, he's going to be good.
Well, no, they kill him because the talent is there, and
give him a second though. He's a fucking baby.
Tonight he had 11 points. He was 3 of 8. And once again, if you're supposed to be the guy, because they gave him $100 million, if you're going to be the guy going forward, you getting 8 shots in the game is not supposed to happen. He went 3 of 8. I'd rather see you go 3 of 20.
But like, I mean, this is I agree with you, but you got to give him a little bit of time. Like the way that this Rockets team is currently constituted, you're throwing the last shot to like Fred fucking VanVleet, dude. Like it's, like he's taking the last shot of the fucking game. Like, come on. That was an atrocious air ball at the end of that last game. And it's just like, of course, like this is your guy. This is who you're designing plays for, I guess. So what do you expect?
I mean, tonight, everyone else likely saved Green. So I think Thompson had 21, VanVleet had 26.
He finally had a good game. We called him out pre-series.
Right. So it's just like, obviously any team is different when their shots are falling. They defend well enough, but it's just like if the shot.
No, their defense is great, but their half-court offense is fucking atrocious.
Yeah. And but that's reminiscent of what it was here, though.
Yeah, it's very Ime coded. It's very Ime coded. That whole
we just happened to catch fire at the right time.
Yeah, they play a lot like that era of the Celtics. They really do. Like the way that they like kind of let leads slip a little bit, the way that their like fourth quarter offensive production stalls, like a lot of the flaws are still there from Ime's old teams. It does show you something for, the Ime Joe debaters out there, but that's not what we're doing here. Okay, finally, last but not least, I'm so surprised that the Nuggets are ahead in that Clippers Denver series. I really am. I really thought when that Kawhi performance in Game 2. I was like, oh, it's over, because Jokic also had a bad fourth quarter performance, like in contrast to Kawhi's like vintage Kawhi performance. He was scoring, he was playing defense, he was doing all this stuff. So I was like, oh no, like, I mean, obviously all the coaching stuff that happened with the Nuggets at the end of the season, and maybe there's more dysfunction than we thought, and like, oh, can we really expect Jamal Murray to come in and have this like vintage play? Yeah, apparently he fucking can. Like, that guy absolutely turns it on in the fucking playoffs, and like, he's undeniable. Like, he absolutely went off last night. And I'm not holding my breath that he can't do that again, because it also enables Jokic to play the game he wants to play. And when their two-man game is working, it works. It fucking works. So you can't really sleep on them. Like, they have a little Kansas City Chiefs energy almost now after that response. That being said, I still think the Clippers are going to win the series. I'm not gonna pivot on that at this point, because I'm just so scared of Kawhi Leonard when he plays really well. What do you guys think?
I think relying on James Harden in the playoffs is so dangerous.
I know he was such a no-show in that last game. Holy shit, dude!
It's so dangerous, man. And that's what made me believe in the Clippers, is how good he looked all season, because he looked like vintage James Harden. Not Rockets James Harden, not to that level, but kind of like when he was with Brooklyn playing really well. He's seeing the court really well until he gets to the playoffs, man. He was an absolute no-show in the last game. He only had 9 shots, 5
Aren't
assists.
they kind of built in a way that they can absorb that, though, from a scoring point of view from time to time? Like, I feel like he's a bonus option a lot of times in their offense when they're playing really, really well. You don't think so?
Think about what you just said. Think about that. Think about that.
I did. I thought about it, and then I said it with my face.
But no, Bob, I mean, I'm not saying to be condescending, but like James Harden, a guy that we've seen get 36 in this league as a bonus option, like that can't be the case. And I'm not saying
I know, but I mean, he at the very least is just there to be worried about from time to time. You know what I mean? Like, I know that he's not.
He's got to give you 25. I'm sorry.
I was thinking 20. I think they can skate by on 20 from Harden on a regular basis. 18 to 20 was my range for them to like win a series.
I mean, granted,
with a couple pops, you know what I mean? With a couple pop games.
It's recency bias, obviously, but like I said, you can't have 9 shots like Bobby just said, but your counterpart got 43 on your head. Can't happen. And once again, we've seen James Harden explode. Hell,
he only took 2 3-point shots. Like, I don't think he did.
He was in Philly a couple years ago. They came into Boston, and he single-handedly won them Game 1 in Boston, and he won them Game 5 in Boston. So we've seen certain moments of him taking over a game, but that he needs to be aggressive.
But I think that the stuff you were really getting from him in the first 2 games was like playmaking, spacing, like he was in places that they needed to go worry about. So it like let other guys get into the game. He's enough of a scoring threat that they had to worry about him, but he also got 9 and 11 assists in those games. His assist number in the no-show game drops down to 5.
He's amazing with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the way that they're built, it's like they can he can switch into playmaking mode if the scoring isn't hitting. My issue with the no-show game yesterday was more that he only took 2 fucking threes, dude. Yeah, he had 9 shots. In the other games, he was in the mid-teens. So the thing is, yeah, you take 9 shots, right? But you only take 2 threes. Take 3 more threes. Get yourself in a position to take 3 more threes. Because if you hit those, right, then you're 3 for 5. You're 3 for 5 from the 3-point land, and all of a sudden the box score looks very, very different. And like, or you just got to hit 2 out of those 3 even. Yep. And you're in a completely different James Harden stratosphere, because trying to turn him into James Harden of any other year is going to, I agree with you guys that's going to fucking sink that ship. I really do. But I really think the way that he contributed in their wins, that's the thing that I can see guiding them home. I don't think they are relying on him to be the guy to win the series, is what I'm saying.
And you could very well be like, spot on and right about that. That's, you could be, and maybe it is, right? I just think for me, and once again, maybe just keeping what, we've seen him do in the past, I don't want to be prisoner in the moment, but like I said, you got to go down swinging. And, he's like we said it on the show before, he's made Zubac a lot of money. He's going to get paid because of James Harden.
Oh, yeah.
But you're expecting Norm Powell, who can go off, but Norm Powell to me is a bench guy who is starting because they don't have the talent to subside. We seen what Derrick Jones Jr. was. Once again, I said it last year very loudly, and folks will say, "Oh, you being cocky?" No, Derrick Jones, you got to show me. Once again, you could jump out the building. Great, and you've worked really hard at becoming a 3-and-D guy. You're not a consistent 3-point shooter, and it's costing them. And then you put more pressure on Kawhi, who can't give that to you the way he used to every night. He just can't. Physically, he just can't do it. So I need Harden to give more. Powell got to give more. Once again, Zubac's been great in his role, but they just need other guys to step up and give you 8 to 10, from some other guys, and that can help. But if not, they'll be going home.
I think there's a good chance. I know that we have a history of playoff James Harden, but I just think there's a good chance that he actually does have a pop.
Oh, I want you to be right. I mean, I want that series to go 7. So I hope that you are.
He took a beating. He should have a chip on his shoulder for how the world reacted to his bad game. Quite honestly, like us included. Like he should have a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if he has that in him. He hasn't historically in the playoffs, but I just want him to get back to playing loose and playing his game. That's what I would want to see from the Clippers, to be totally honest with you. So I guess we'll see how it goes. What do you think, Bob? You think the Nuggets are going to close this one out?
If we get Jamal Murray playoff performance like we got,
crazy, isn't it?
Last one, it's the best he's looked since the bubble. So if we get that, it's going to be tough for the Clippers to win, even if Kawhi shows up. If not, if Jamal Murray reverts back to the guy that we've seen the past few years, and he kind of lays an egg, Harden shows up a little bit, I think this one goes to 7, and I think Clippers have a shot. But I'm going to have to go with the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets end up winning the series. I really do.
I do think it's going to 7.
I changed my pick from before, but the Nuggets having that home court, the Clippers don't look like they can adjust to Denver. I don't know if it's the altitude.
Yeah, they did look a little tired. That's for sure true. I still think it's going 7 games. And I think you're right. At this point, a 7-game series does favor the Nuggets. I'm gonna stick with the Clippers because I picked them. So fine. But I do think a 7-game series at this point, with everything going. Ray, what's your final prediction for that series?
I mean, I think I had Clippers at 7 as well, so I'm still gonna go with that.
Great.
But like I said, to me, Murray and Jokic, like I said, they're playing at a high level again. And
it's a great 2-man game. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, that just makes them so much more formidable when those guys are playing at a high level, especially Murray. So, yeah, I can't wait to see Game 6 though.
We did it, guys. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. If you made it this far, we did the NFL draft. We did the NBA playoffs. Tune in for more intense playoff coverage as the series get more intense. If the Celtics go to 7 games, Ray has sort of alluded to the fact that we'll probably do a post game if we're feeling it. If anything crazy like that happens, tune in to Missing the Point. Listen to us talk sports. Hey, thanks, fellas. That was wonderful. Good night, everybody. Or good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon. That's the great thing about recorded media. You could be listening to this whenever. Goodbye.
Yeah.